Sometimes when things go wrong, you can't blame life. Cause when you shot your shot, what was your aim like? What were you targeting? Cause if it ain't right, and you still go with it, then that is on you. It's on you, it's on you, it's on you.
What's going on, you guys? This is Romi and Sam, and you are listening to the Mindset Rebooted podcast.
And if you are a first-time listener, thank you so much for stopping by. Here on the Mindset Rebooted podcast, we like to have conversations that help us to elevate the way we think. And what that means is that we have old ways of thinking that have held us back in the past, and we like to take on new ways of thinking that help us to maximize our full potential and to become the best versions of ourselves.
So if you get any value from our episode today, please support us by sharing this episode with someone you know who could also get value from it.
Absolutely. And today we're going to be talking about changing the algorithm in your life. Ooh, changing the algorithm in your life. A lot of us have been hearing that word a lot lately. Algorithm, what is it? Algorithm, it's a set of rules that's used for accomplishing a task, right? So there's algorithms that are very specific to different things. A lot of us hear about the TikTok algorithm, maybe Facebook, Reels, things like that. And so let's use TikTok algorithm for an example. TikTok algorithm is set with a set of rules that allows for it to put content on your For You page that is specific to your interests. So whatever it is that you have expressed or the actions that you're taking is going to recommend these specific types of content for you. And so why is that important when it comes down to changing the algorithm of your life? Well, using the TikTok analogy, essentially, a lot of us have some stated values. We have some things that we say we want. There's certain things that we're pleased with in our lives, certain things that we're not pleased with. In either case, we're like, man, why is this going on? Or I wish things were like this. So what does that mean? It means that whatever we're seeing currently is absolutely a reflection of the interest that we've already expressed. That's not magical thinking at all. That's just a matter of fact.
Yeah, and it reminds me of, so I have a motorcycle license. And when I was first getting my motorcycle license, I researched motorcycle school, how to get the permit and all that good jazz. And because I was so interested in motorcycles, I saw more motorcycles on the road. So I think that is the easiest way I understand this algorithm of our life that you're mentioning, right? Very romantic of you, by the way, poetic.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason why it's a big deal is because when you think about it, using the idea that whatever it is that we're seeing is because we've expressed that interest. Going back to what I was saying earlier, when I hear a lot of people complaining like, hey, things aren't going the way I thought that they should. I keep meeting the same type of women, oh man, no, all these women, they're no good, or whatever the case is, right? A lot of times I ask them, well, what are you doing when you are getting with these women? Like, how do you meet them? What is it that you're doing? So I'm like, oh, I met her at the club, or oh man, I met her at the bar, or oh man, maybe on Tinder. And look, not to knock you if those are the different things that you're doing to meet the woman. And this is an example right now, just with who you're meeting. But not to knock somebody if that's what they're doing. But how can you expect to have someone who's into, I don't know, maybe like, a church girl or something like that, and you're looking for them on these platforms? What it means is that the interest that you're expressing is that which you have shown, right? If I'm looking for these women, I need to change where I'm looking for the women that I'm looking for, if that makes any sense.
It kind of got confusing, but I think what you're trying to say is, if you're going to a bar, even though you say you want to have someone who's like a church lady as your prospective future partner, but because you're going to a bar, you are actually showing that you're more interested in people who are in the bar.
Yes.
That's really what
exactly.
I'm getting, right? So if I'm interested in, meeting someone who's more into the church and the values similar to the church, then I should be at the church so that I could, whatever I say I care about actually equals what I'm actually doing. They make sense together, right?
Exactly.
Right. It's not really I say one thing and I'm doing the other thing, and that is what you're talking. That is the algorithm of life with what you're mentioning. Is what exactly are you doing, and is that actually meeting what you stated that you want?
Exactly, right? Because like we've heard for every action there's a reaction, or there's always a consequence to whatever you do, right? Whatever I guess saying you want to use, it's pretty much saying that whatever you're doing, there's going to be an effect that's commensurate with whatever it is that you did. And so when I think about changing the algorithm, what I'm thinking about is I need to make sure that my stated values align with my actual values. That's what I need to do. Because if I'm stating something and I really, really want it that bad, then there's some work that I need to do. I can't really just expect for it to fall out of a clear blue sky. What I have to do is I have to search. I have to be intentional in what I do. And so when you're changing the algorithm of your life, what you have to do is say, well, what am I currently doing? Okay, I say I want to learn more about how to be a better businessman. But every time I'm trying to quote unquote learn it, I'm hanging out with people who know nothing about business. Or I'm hanging out with people who just want to spend their money on frivolous things, right? And so what I need to do is change my approach. How about I go on a search for mentorship, people who have already been successful in doing certain things business-wise? How about I look for certain events where people can gather and exchange, hey, this is what I'm doing currently in my profession. I can help you with this, I can help you with that. Oh yeah, I can help you with this, I can help you with that. These are different things that somebody can do very practically that will then change their outcome. If all I'm seeing right now is a bunch of people who are very financially illiterate, by me taking those actions, I start to change what I see. I start to then see people who are very business savvy.
I'm gonna go kind of nerdy on this. Well, not really nerdy. I'm gonna say I'm gonna do a direct relationship for YouTube. Because I go down the YouTube rabbit hole a lot for things I just randomly look into. And so, for example, if I look up a heavy metal band or a song on YouTube, that is me showing that I have interest in heavy metal. And then what happens is I end up seeing other videos that relate to heavy metal or that band. And I think that's very similar to what I do. So if I go to a heavy metal concert, which is essentially me searching up a video, I go to that concert, I see the band that plays before the band I saw, the band that plays after the band I want to see, and then I meet other people. That's like your recommended playlist on your YouTube page, right? That's how I'm seeing it right now. I am getting into the meta world and applying it to the real world. Yeah, I just went nerd on you. So really, it's if you say that's your value, you gotta live that value.
Right.
That's what it is, and it makes a lot of sense because like right now my head is just in marketing. My head is in social media marketing. How do I get better videos, graphics? How do I post stuff to help more people? And that's all I'm saying. So if you look at my YouTube feed, it's just, all right, here's the different tactics, here's strategy for content creation, here's how to create more content that will actually educate and entertain your audience even better. That's what I'm seeing, and because that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm seeing, and that's more of what I'll see moving forward. And that's where my brain is right now too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it shows. I think that one thing we should do as people, rather than us saying, hey, these are my values, and then having different values that we're actually living, where that dissonance is there, rather than starting out with the stated values, I feel like we should start out with the values that we actually are currently living, and then say, these are my values. So that our stated values actually align with those values that we're actually living, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The reason why is because it does a couple things. One, it doesn't cause for that cognitive dissonance that goes on in people's minds when they realize, hey, there's a contradiction that's going on with what I'm saying versus what I'm doing. But then two, it's a filter. It allows for you to see where you currently stand. And then if there's anything you don't like, you can then change. You can then change it and be successful in changing the algorithm. So to summarize that all, rather than us saying what we're about, let's evaluate what we're actually about and vocalize, wow, this is clearly what it is. And then make any changes. It's just hard for people to do that because a lot of times the truth is scary.
Yeah, the truth is scary, and the truth, but the thing is, I don't think it's necessarily scary. It's just uncomfortable. Because we inherently know what the truth is of what we do. We know how we spend our time, how we spend our day. Maybe we're not writing it down on our calendar, but we know because we're living it, right? So it's not necessarily scary, we lived it. I think it's just facing the truth of that contradiction, if you are living in contradiction. I think that is where it's uncomfortable, because you are catching yourself in a lie if you are contradicting what you say you're doing. So I think some people, if they try to do this tactical thing that we're saying, they might feel a little overwhelmed at first. And I want I would like, because I've done it before, I've done this exercise before, and the way I was able to approach it, and I was guided to approach it, is like, don't even put emotion onto your evaluation. It just is what it is. This is what you do. There's nothing wrong with what you do. Even though you say maybe online, like, yeah, we're all about fitness, and I'm like, well, how often do you actually go out to work out, and how much to eat? It's just data. That's all it is. Don't put an emotion to it. And now if your actual life, your daily lifestyle is not meeting that, then okay, let's just problem solve and adjust what you're doing so that you can meet what you say you want to be.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. And I think the key word you brought up was emotion, and that's the reason why I like the word algorithm, because the algorithm takes into account no emotion. It's no emotion, it's literally a set of rules. There's no feelings involved in it. It just is, right? And so if I'm saying that this is the current algorithm of my life, I'm saying that this is clearly where I currently stand. This is clearly the things that are driving me in my everyday tasks. And if I would like to accomplish a different task or a different goal, I have to then change the everyday steps that I'm taking, right? And so once we evaluate exactly what it is that we're currently doing with our lives, we have to be very, very intentional in every step that we take. So for example, if, like I was saying before, whether it's business or whether it's finding someone you like or learning about the marketing, once I understand that I'm not doing that, have I stopped to then say, hey, let me do this search? Have I reached out to someone who's intelligent in that? Have I gone back to school? Have I done any of those different things? If I have not, there's an issue.
Yeah, and there's an issue, and the issue, again, without any emotion, is just the issue is that there's a lack of effort towards that desired goal. That's all it is. That's not, like, maybe some people might use issue as a negative connotation, but it's just, there's just a gap that needs to be filled. That's how I see it.
I would consider that gap to be an issue just depending on what you look at, right? Because a gap isn't necessarily an issue unless it's a gap from, well, you know what? I do look at a gap as an issue. It's a deficiency. It's an issue. It just is. It doesn't mean that it's a life-ending issue. It just means that it's an issue. We need to solve this problem. There's a deficiency in me reaching where I'm supposed to be. How do I solve this? I think that that's the biggest thing. And so, like, using the example that just happened, like you said, we were distracted. I'm thinking about these things, and I really should be focused on the topic at hand. And so I'm talking about these things in a roundabout way. In very real life, that's what's happening to a lot of us. We are doing things that are just taking us away from where we are looking to go. But wherever we put our focus on, that's where we're gonna end up heading. So we need to really get ourselves back into alignment. And sometimes changing the algorithm of your life means that I now eliminate all these different distractions. If being on social media too much was the distraction, then maybe I need to eliminate a lot of that. Maybe I need to change what I'm doing, because that's a huge part of getting the end result that you want, and making sure that your stated values align with your real values.
Yeah, and I think it's also very important, I'm gonna pivot real quick, because we've been talking about a lot of tactics, things that you could actually do to change the algorithm of your life. But why is that important? And what are the benefits of changing the algorithm according to what you want, right? And there's two things. The very first thing that I think of as a benefit is you are doing what you say you're doing. And when you are in that alignment of your actions with your stated core values, you feel right. You feel fulfilled. You feel like, hey, life is good. I'm doing what I say I do, even though sometimes there are discomfort, sometimes there are pain in the ass to do. I'm still doing what I say I care about. And so one, you feel great. You just feel great, solid in your foundation. And then the second part is that you actually start seeing more progress towards your desired goal.
Yes.
If your goal is, I don't know, Like, what was that example of finding someone who's in the church, who's active in the church, who has similar religious background as you or values? Then when you're in church, you feel that around you, and then you are seeing that, hey, you're talking to more people, more women who are also in the church, and then now you're like, okay, I am increasing my chances of success now.
Yes. No, that's really a key point. You feel great, and the reason why I brought up the cognitive dissonance before is because that then puts you in a negative rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Right? What happens is if there's cognitive dissonance, meaning that there's a contradiction between what I'm saying and what I'm doing, what that then means is that I may act out even more. I may place blame on others. I may lash out at people. I may do things that are harmful, things that are out of character, because that there's a lack of alignment.
Well, that contradiction, because the thing is, when you look in the mirror, there's no hiding. You know if you are in alignment with what you care about. You know if you're a hypocrite. And when you look in the mirror, when you identify you're a hypocrite, you don't like yourself.
No.
That's what it is. Like, people who say that I love being healthy and yada, 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 and then they look at the mirror and they don't want to look at themselves, that's I don't care whatever your weight is or how fit you are, how low body fat you are, if what you see in the mirror is not what you say you want to have, then you're going to be dissatisfied with yourself in some level, whether that's dissatisfaction manifesting itself in blaming other people for the way you look, or whether that's dissatisfaction with yourself with your lack of discipline towards whatever your goal is. There's that contradiction. That's the scary part. You mentioned
I
scary.
mentioned scary.
It's identifying that you are a walking contradiction.
Yes.
And admitting it. It's like the imposter phenomenon, imposter syndrome, where people are scared of being called out. Like, hey, you're not really a doctor, And it's like, yeah, I am a doctor, because my job title is I am a doctor. But like, are you living the life of a doctor, of a medical professional, preventative medicine, yada, 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 yada. That's where that cognitive dissonance happens.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Because, and I like you brought up that example, because that goes to show you that there's a difference between an idea and a lifestyle. And a lot of us are we're enamored with the idea of things. So like you brought up the example of somebody who says, oh yeah, I love working out. No, you're in love with the idea of working out, or you're in love with the idea of finding the right person. You're in love with the idea of doing this. What you're not committed to is doing the things that bring you that lifestyle, right? And so when you're changing the algorithm, what it means is that you're changing the behaviors that you exhibit to get you the end that you say that you want. That's what the whole idea of changing the algorithm is, because there's no emotion involved. It's not an idea that's involved. It just is. It's step-by-step action plan, and then you follow that, and that's how you get to where you want to get to.
And the cool thing is, it's actually very easy to change the algorithm. If I'm on YouTube, I vote downvote. Netflix, I downvote videos or movies I don't care about. On Reels, Instagram, or Facebook, I selected not interested in this video. Show me some other stuff. Let me change. You could edit your algorithm according to what you do.
Also, one thing that's key to the whole algorithm situation is that you may say or you may not say what you like or dislike, but just what you're interacting with is saying what you like or dislike.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, dude.
You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna go a little social media nerding stuff. So just liking something, that's one way of interacting with it. Spending seconds, minutes watching a video, even though you publicly don't want to say that you've watched it, or you just spend a minute watching that same video. You obviously care. Or you looked at the caption, you click, oh, let me read the caption. You click let me see what people are commenting. Let me see all this. You obviously showed interest by your actions.
Yes.
You don't have to say that you like it, but your actions show it, right? So if I'm freaking going to Best Buy and saying, I don't want a new camera light, or I don't want new equipment, well, why the hell do you keep going to Best Buy, bro?
Exactly.
Like, what's the,
Exactly.
What? Why do you keep driving by Best Buy? Come on, is it on the way to work, or are you going out of your way? What's going on here?
Exactly. And I think that that's the point that I really want to drive home, is that it's more than saying what you like or don't like, right? Like just like on social media, you click like or dislike, you're saying what you like or don't like. It's really about all the other nuances. How are you engaging with these other things. That's gonna be the true test of whether or not you really like something. It's not about, oh yeah, I don't like, that's a surface level thing.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
And so I challenge all of us, this is including me and Romi, but all of our viewers, evaluate what you are currently engaging with on a daily basis. What is it that you're doing? Because that's going to be the true test of what you want. And so if you're saying that that's not what you want, let's start to do things differently. If I'm saying I don't want to be with people who are drinking and smoking, I better stop going to the bar.
Yeah.
I better stop Googling what's the cheapest alcohol, right? What's like, I need to stop doing those things, right? Because that's what's holding me back. I need to move forward by changing how I'm engaging with things in general.
But I got nothing else to add. We gave a lot of tactical things on how people could change the algorithm to their life. We gave, and again, the benefits is that you feel better when you are not in contradiction to yourself. You feel way better and you feel more accomplished.
There it is. And if you got great value out of this, please make sure you smash that subscribe button, give us 5 stars, make sure you leave us a review, and share this, most importantly, with somebody else who needs some help with changing the algorithm in their life. You can follow me personally at hey.hey. Oh, wait, you already have it listed.
You can support us and follow us. Everything's gonna be listed in the description below. Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry. Oh man, I feel like that went so bad. Wait, you already said thank you so much. I'm assuming that ended.
No, bro, you gotta do it. You gotta close it out, bro. I'm keeping all this, bro.
Please don't keep all of this.
You gotta close this out, bro.
Oh man, this is gonna look so bad. This is just such a bad episode. I'm so sorry.
Not a bad episode, bad closing to the episode.
It's a bad closing to the episode.
Nah, this is how we learn. This is how we learn.
It is how we learn. But yes, and until next time, Mindset Rebooted.
Sometimes when things go wrong, you can't blame life. Cause when you shot your shot, what was your aim like? What were you targeting? Cause if it ain't right, and you still go with it, then that is on you.